on that first cup of coffee, Chuck?
Mike, you ain't gonna believe this, but you're standing behind me and you called it spot on. You're spot on. Great call, Mike.
Well, good morning to Karla, and enjoy that first cup before you assume the microphone position.
Well, if there's anybody else who wants to check in early before Karla takes over, you're welcome to come now. Be number 3. Good morning, Ron. Boy, you're down. You're way down. But I'm not sure what you and Mike are running too. You guys could be running something that you might be down a little bit anyway. But your Q5, Mike, or Mike's Q5, and Bill is like about a Q3. But Ron, you're Q5, but you're down on the audio.
Sounds a lot better now. I got the power on the microphone.
Okay, that sounds like the Ron there we go. Good job, Ron. Okay, Ron, I got you in the 3 spot, sir. There's number 4 out there wants to check in early. You can come now.
Morning, Ron.
Probably heard Vern. Anybody want to see Vern?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Vern.
Okay, Vern, I've got you in the 4 spot, K6DSY. In the 4 spot, Vern.
WA7YBS standing by.
Good morning, Henry. W4DVQ here, recognizing WA7YBS. I got you in the number 5 spot, Henry. Is there anybody else out there that'd like to be an early check-in? Be number 6, please come now.
Okay, I'll take the number 6 spot, K0DWC. I'm in the number 6 spot, so back to net control, W4DVQ.
Okay, K0DWC in the number 6 spot. Anybody else? One more check, or anybody else want to check in? Be number 7. Please come now. Okay, well, we got 6 people, so if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and get it going. QST, this is Vintage Military Radio Net. This is W4 Delta Victor Quebec. My name is Karla, and I'll be your net control this morning if all goes well. We will be operating on 3974 KC. The Vintage Military Radio Net is a roundtable AM net that provides an opportunity for hams to operate their vintage military radio gear on the air. Military gear is encouraged, but certainly not required. Just check in with whatever you got. You're more than welcome. So, and if you got anything to mention it during your turn on the round table. So, I'm going to give the rundown as my co-pilot has it written down here. I have Bill in 6 BCT in the number 1 spot. Good morning, Bill. In the number 2 spot, I have Mike, W7MS. Good morning, Mike. Number 3 is Ron, NU6F. Good morning, Ron. Number 4 is Vern, K6VXY. Good morning, Vern. Number 5 is Henry, WA7YBS. Good morning, Henry. And Chuck, K0DWC. Good morning, Chuck. Okay, is there anybody else out there would like to check in before we get going on the first round? Please come now. Okay, nothing heard on this side. And guys, if you hear anything, please let me know and we'll go from there. So, I'm on the ART-13 with the D104 microphone, homebrew power supply, and listening on the ARR7. And I think I'm doing probably about 50 watts. 250, I'm sorry, 250. My eyes ain't working. So anyhow, let's get the thing going. So I'm going to hand it to Bill in 6, Bravo Charlie Tango to take it. W4DVQ.
W4DVQ, Bravo Charlie Tango. We got the radio working, and J.P. worked for that, but there was only 2 of them receivers.
Okay, well, thank you, Bill. N6BCT, W7MS. Well, good morning to one and all on this windy Sunday morning. Mike in Reno. And this morning, make it official, running the Zenith built for the U.S. Navy early 19 World War II ART-13. I think it's a 42 contract date. And listening on the Collins R391 auto-tuned receiver, the version of the R390 I think specifically designed for, well, I think for teletype. Diversity teletype was quite a setup when you see that rack of 391s in the coupler for that diversity application. But that's the story here, amplified D104. And we'll keep it short here for the first round, but good morning to one and all. Over to Swan Lake, NU6F, W7MS.
W7MS, okay, it's one bell. Yeah, in fact, it ripped ripped the antenna lead out of the balance. It's ran out this morning and quick plugged that back in and tied it off. And other than that, everybody's sounding good. The antenna is blowing around like crazy, and it's really modulating everybody's signal. All right, anyhow, it's Ron, Lemon Valley, just north of Reno, and we're running the T3 at 300 watts carrier and listening on the Stuart Warner 1959 contract R390A, and the 170-foot inverted L. Okay, with that, it's down to Squirrel Acres, K6VXY. I believe you're next, NU6F.
Okay, thanks, Ron. K6VXY now running the linear. And did have a quick rain report. We hadn't really had much in the way of measurable rain here for a good month. And we got between the first, we got 2.3 inches, almost split evenly, a little bit more on the 31st than yesterday. Easy Roger Nancy, High Mountain Lake, let's see, 3 and 390, I believe, Alpha. Wish I could go back to the ship, but I can't. That thing was lost on the torch, but we had an R390 on there. That's all I remember. It could have been a 1. It could have been a lot of things. Although the ship was commissioned in 1, and I got it on there in 1963. And so it would be a vintage somewhere in that period, so that might give it some to do. R390. Good morning, Bill and Mike and Ron. And future good morning to Henry and Chuck. And Chuck got the picture, and I guess the other guys get email to, which is Mike and Chuck got it. I got a letter from Chuck, or a return. Yeah, this thing does look good, and you know, it's amazing, this mohawk here. There's knobs on it. This thing must have been in storage a lot, because I clean it up with a little soap and water, the knobs, and then a lot of the chassis, just, you know, wipe it down with either a paper towel or with a Q-tips. But they sparkle almost, you know. I haven't finished all of them with their Q-tip polish, but they will be. And it charges up. I'm glad you recommended that R times 100K there, Henry. That's a great meter. I got lucky. I got a good one. I opened it up. Have another meter here. I measured the voltage. The 1.5 volt was just above 1.5 volts. Big D cell. I'm not sure what the 30-volt battery is. Maybe you know, Henry, there's a 30-volt battery. I'm not sure about 32 volts. But like they could have been capacitors. I'm pretty sure that middle one was. They charged up, and then they went up to, you know, near 0, and then they charged up to, in the area of, let's see, 500K to 1. Most commonly, they stopped at 1 meg on the meter dial, which is just up from the bottom there. Well, not just up, it's up. It says 10. 5 to 10. It doesn't. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's between 0.5 and 1 on that scale. So, that's 100,000. So, yeah, it just went up to 100K, a little over. I was reading it wrong last night. I was reading it R times 1 meg. But they seem to be doing just fine, so I got to try firing it up later today. I might use the variac. It's not going to do anything. For me, psychologically, it's going to be... I think when I had the DX100, I had that on a variac, for a good month. And we were Saturday night people meeting during the week, and so I was on quite a bit. And let's see, the rig here is still the IC 7200, and then the trusty old heath kit. I got side-by-side heath kits here now. Here, they're like end caps or end bookends. Yeah,
camera on one side and the SB200 on the other. And the antenna here is up about 40 feet, 40 to 50 feet. And very well, 170 foot. That sounds like that would work 160. Kind of interesting. So I'm going to turn over to Henry, who sent me that the tips. I did those yesterday. I did the capacitor checks. I got everything cleaned up, and then I did everything that Heathkit wanted me to do early on, and which wasn't a lot, but I did need the meter for that. So over to Henry, the expert there. WA7 YBS, this K6 VX flight.
Okay. Got to do a little tweaking and peeking there. Got to remember you got a foot switch. Good morning to all. Yeah, it's pretty windy here. And of course with all the big cottonwood trees, it's roaring out there. It's roaring. So anyway, the antennas are still up. And that's not too surprising. I have counterweights on the big one, the big antenna, but I'm on the little antenna today, which is well, it's a full-size 80-meter inverted V. Well, it's kind of a real shallow inverted V. It's almost a dipole. But at any rate, it's the shop antenna because I'm on the big rig. I'm on the W6MIT homebrew, 300 watts of carrier power, a 4-250A modulated by a pair of 572Bs, 2,000 volts on the plate, and so anyway, that's the transmitter. As I said, the antenna is the 135-foot center-fed, tuned quasi-dipole sort of. The microphone is an Electro Voice 664, and of course we use a Bogan speech amp. That's actually a public address amplifier, CT100, but it works pretty good. The modulator on the homebrew transmitter. So anyway, that's that. And the receiver is the Raycal RA6117A. And that's the American-made Raycal version of the RA17, and or the RA117. A little bbit different conversions in the receiver, but it basically looks kind of the same. And but built in Silver Spring, Maryland, by I think it was called Raycal Communications, I think. But at any rate, it's the American-made Raycal receiver. So. That's sort of our quasi-military connection there. It's definitely at the price that Raycal got for these receivers. It was either a military used or commercial. So anyway, temperature this morning, 51 degrees. Not anything to be unexpected with the wind. Rain, we didn't really get any. I think I could feel a drop or two when I was outside, but you sure couldn't tell it was raining. That was yesterday. Today's about the same. So we'll see what happens. Over to Chuck, K0DWCWA7YBS.
Okay, Henry. Well, good morning to you. You sound really great, and Big Rig sounds real good. And good morning to Vern, and Ron, Mike, and to Bill and Karla. Well, Vern, I got to tell you, I looked at that photograph of that Marauder real good, and you've done a very, very nice job on that. And hearty congratulations on that. I can't wait to hear it on the air. And it doesn't look like there's a mark on that front panel. It really doesn't. Didn't really see anything on it. But Karla was amazed that she could see your reflection in the window. That was pretty cool. But good deal there all the way around. And hey guys, just a quick footnote. If either Henry or I or whoever should lose power or whatever, somebody can pick it up. You know, Henry's on a different grid than I am, but if we lose power here, Henry will probably pick it up. And if Henry went down, maybe Mike would pick it up. I don't know, but just in case you don't hear us, the power flickered here once, so we don't come back. I don't know why. But anyway, everybody's sounding good this morning. My antenna's moving around real good too, so anyway, we'll keep it going, and I'll send it back up to Nick and play with Karla W4DVQ, K0DWC.
Okay, K0DWC, this is Whiskey 4, Delta Victor, Quebec. Real quick, let me make a call out and see if anybody wants to get in on the tail end of the first round, and be number 7, please come now.
W6 SSP.
Okay, I got W6 SSP, Steve. Is there anybody else out there would like to get in on the first go around at the tail end and be number 8? Please come now. Okay, nothing heard. Go ahead, Steve, and make a transmission and hand it back to me, W4DVQ. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Karla. Good morning to you and everybody. W4DVQ, this is W6 SSP, this is North Older. Using the same equipment, calling 7,001 receiver, and then using the transmitter. Lots of things. Just after the first round, so let's see if I heard everybody. Good signals, good amount of QSB, but there might be some the wind some of you guys are experiencing in Nevada. Dead calm here. We've had quite a bit of rain last couple of days, coming up this morning. 3 inches, and a big storm coming in Tuesday and again Thursday. This time with wind, so we'll see if we fix that coming again. It's happening quite a bit lately. Anyway, back to net control. W4DVQ, W6SSP.
Okay, W6SSP, W4DVQ here. All right, one more call before I say something. So is there anybody else out there that'd like to get in on the last of the first go-around? Okay, nothing heard. Well, Chuck stole one of my lines, so now I don't have a whole lot to say, but yeah, I was like, look, there's somebody looking in the window, but it's Vern. Hey, Vern. But I noticed I was looking at your photos on that second one, and just wondering, do you play the guitar or something? It looks like a Fender guitar pick laying there on your table. And anyhow, yeah, that's a good job you did on that, Vern. You can see reflections in the knob even. But good job. Nice looking radio. So not a whole lot going on with me. Just been hanging out for a little bit, and that's about it. Every time I think I want to do something, I have to clean my room up so I can do something. So it's like you got to get in the mood, you know. So I'm working on that. So anyhow, with that stuff, not that it really means anything, I'm going to hand it to Bill in 6, Bravo Charlie Tango to take it. This is Whiskey 4, Delta Victor, Quebec. Is anybody here, Bill?
Nope, can't hear him here. Bill, if you can hear me, I will turn it over to you. W6SSP.
I believe Bill is missing in action.
Okay, Mike, you go ahead and take it, Mike, and we'll call for him at the end of this round, if you don't mind. So go ahead, Mike, W7MS to take it, W4DVQ.
Well, thanks, Karla. W4DVQ and the Nevada Military Net, W7MS. Well, good morning to Steve. Nice to hear you this morning on the usual stuff. Sounded well. Nice strong signal and no nuance of QSB, at least to this time. Even though when I was tuning up earlier prior to 7 a.m., I did notice quite a bit of the usual propagation from Far East, but everybody's on frequency. No adjacent or on-frequency activity other than desired signals, so it's a good morning. And everybody's busy. Vern's busy polishing knobs with those Q-tips. I'll go back through my email and find your email. I do a lot of massive deletes. I'm on a lot of list servers, and I'll get 30, 40, 50, 60 emails. And I do a quick parse and delete, and I think I missed that, so we'll go back through. My apologies. No cough switch here, but let me see. Updates on the Manhattan project. Received the Bogan PA amplifier. It's only a C10. We only need 10 watts RMS and 1% distortion to drive the 500 ohm balanced input, and that appears to work fine on about a 10-second initial try on looking at the plate current on the modulators. So it was bouncing around, so I think we'll get a little bit more sophisticated because we didn't want to overdo it and go backwards in time and cause some distress to the transmitter. Also, I do have the AC control circuitry complete, and that's just finished that up yesterday. And with the crappy weather, it's inside work time, and so that's what we accomplished. Still have the protected bias supply to build, but that's in the works also. And it's with this modern weather, it's prime time for going picking out in the back garage, whereas a few days ago, I think I was good for about 30 seconds picking when I got uncomfortable, and I said, this is really ridiculous. I'm going to go back inside and wait for a better day. So the better days have come, other than the fact that one might be blown away or actually struck with a flying object with this windstorm that we're having. And it's not a record breaker. I was looking, it was 30 miles an hour peak here over the recording time, which I think it picks up about every 15 seconds on my weather station. But still hasn't beat the highest wind record, which was on November 24th of the last year, which took out my Chris-Craft tri-bander. So, but very consistent and almost directly out of the west, so it's really buffeting the house. It's been an interesting evening of and morning of power outages, so we'll see what happens, Chuck, but so far so good, and we're still on the air. So over to Ron, and let's see how things are balancing out across the big ditch. NU6F W7MS.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that it's gusting back and forth up so high. It's the antenna drops 7 or 8 feet in the middle and then hops up another 3 feet above normal. The counterweight is banging away against the fence, and that's when it pulls out the high stress connector at the band jack that I switched from 630 meter over to HF work. Yeah, looking at my signal, I am way down into the SDR. I'm about 10 dB down from the rest of you guys, so wherever it's going, I don't know. But there's no smoke, so that's good. And good deal, Mike, on the Manhattan project progress. Yeah, like I say, doing any garage work or hunting for parts normally, yeah, you're bundled up like Nanook of the North to go ahead and find anything outside. And yeah, I've been with the wet weather we've had lately on down on 630 meters. Why, the antenna just gets a little better each time. I'm down to around 200, or down to around 24 ohms. 24 ohms impedance on the 630 meter antenna from a starting point of 130. So our efficiency it's getting up there. I think I'm past the 2% mark now. So and this week I also got the transverter finished. So now I run my SDR rig, one of the little MCHFs, into the transverter and come out with 1 to 5 watts of nice stable signal, and into the homebrew 200 watt amp, where I've got it down at lower VCC, so I get 120 watts out. And so I'm getting a whopping 2.4 watts ERP, and signal levels are way up on the band, but nobody's there. Everybody's digital only, and I haven't got enough room to set the computer up here yet, or even the laptop. So I'll get around to that, and then I can join the digital crowd. But I'm still having every other night a schedule with Mike, AI8Z, in Cortez, New Mexico, and he's a long-time loafer, and was glad to get back on CW. He's also on in the bug users group, so we have 2 connections. So he's tickled pink to have at least somebody to talk to on CW, and we can pull off a QSO every night. Last night he wasn't on too bad. My signals were up 10 dB from normal. So 630 meters, I'm having a lot of fun. And just wish there was more people to have fun with. Steve, good deal on wind damage antennas. You know, I've been really lucky all this time with my hidden antenna with 18 gauge running 160 feet or 150 feet across the canal. I always figured it was going to go, but I have counterweights on both sides. So, but this kind of wind is bad, where it's just gusting, and it yanks it and then drops it back down again. And this is the first time I've been using that flagpole, so it's a 30-foot flagpole instead of the tree. And it also moves around quite a bit, but moving rather than braking, like Mike said, like your beam, moving rather than braking is better. And Vern, good deal on your display Marauder and the upcoming smoke test coming up. We're waiting for that, the results from that. Make sure to have the blower going and window open, so you blow any smoke out the window, just in case. And Henry, okay on the big rig, and the Silver Springs, Maryland Wi-Fi. Here it is. It's almost it's real close to being in Silver Springs, Nevada. All right, with that, take it away, Vern. K6VXY, NE6F.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Smoke test, huh? Well, as Mike has said, I'm probably going to be bringing it up, even though I don't have to, very slowly. Everything looks good. There's a whole bunch of tests that Heath gets done that the original owner did, and it's I don't know that it's not that necessary. They checked it. The thing was working a few months ago, so they were doing something. But that middle cap was actually wiggling a little loose, like it'd been replaced. It measured very nice. Charging up. I forgot all about that, Henry. I forgot all about the fact that you tested. We used to test that way when I was going to school and afterwards, ham radio stuff, and you'd put a meter, especially when I got a VTVM, you put a high impedance source like that in its load, and you would be able to measure this capacitor slowly coming up. Didn't even think about them ever going bad back then, back in the early 60s. But anyhow, the signals today are great. I hear everybody really well. The first microphone I'll be using with that new rig is the equivalent to a Shure 444 because they're reasonably priced and I know they work pretty well and I believe they're high impedance, which Heathkit wants. So that's what I'll be testing this week. And some stuff's arriving Monday, some stuff's arriving Wednesday. I'll have the proper cables for the Model 630 triplet, I think by Tuesday. And Monday I'm supposed to be getting the microphone. So I found a cable that was loose. And it goes to a pin on the back. I got to find it. I was wondering what that was for. I don't know if it's FSK or what, but I'll go look again before the next transmission. It's a piece, when I say cable, I mean a short piece of coax about 6 inches long. And I went through the construction manual and I see where it was supposed to be hooked up to. It was unhooked. And it goes to a strange looking thing on the top of the chassis there, and I don't know what that is. It's like a little, almost like a teepee. It's got a pole at the top, like say a ham radio lived in a circular tent, and there was a little thing sticking straight up in the air. That's something to do with it. And then it hooks it to something external. I think I don't know yet. I'll go look at it when I'm not wasting time by fiddling around with the radio when you guys have things to say too. So, also no wind here at all, and the signals, like I said, very, very good today. Everybody's coming in really well. So I'm going to turn it over to Henry, WA7YBS, and again, I'm very tired of hearing this. Thanks for your help. This is great. K6VXY in the group.
Okay, Glenn. K6VXYWA7 YBS. All right. Yeah. Well, you know, on the real popular VOMs, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, there was the 260 Simpson and then the 630 triplet. And I've always liked the 630 triplet a lot better. And I have a couple of them. I even have it that looks just like the 630 triplet, but it's actually a VTVM of that style. And but yeah, that 30-volt battery in there is for the times 100K scale on ohms. In order to, with that high of a resistance, you need to have a little more voltage in their circuit anyway for moving the meter. And so that 30-volt battery only operates when you're on 100K ohms. And the 1.5 volts is enough for the other scales, the lower scales. And that's not 100% test on capacitors. All it does is kind of let you know that they might be okay. And at least they're not shorted. And of course, most electrolytics don't short anyway. The seal breaks down and then they dry out. And then the capacitance goes from, say, 10 microfarads down to 10 picofarads, so they don't filter very well. But anyway, you'll get it. It's no problem. And You know, there's lots of ways to test the capacitors, but the best thing to do is just replace them. There's nothing like thinking the capacitor is okay, and you go to power up, and maybe about 10 or 15 minutes later, it fails. If we do that, it can happen. Anyway, you'll have fun. And I did get the photograph of the Marauder, and I'm like Mike, I'm kind of behind on the emails. I see them, but you know, then I got to go back and read them again and respond to them. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to respond. So anyway, and Mike, good on the C210. Yeah, real bargain. You know, John, MIT, W6 MIT, and his design of this big rig, he used originally a 50-watt Macintosh amplifier to drive this, you know, as a speech amp. And of course, you know, when he sold this stuff, that was the first thing I think that went because of the Macintosh name. Even though it was a solid-state Macintosh amplifier, it was a, you know, it was a monoblock type of thing. And so, you know, I had a few things around here that might work, but I thought, you know, just go get a Bogan. And the 100 watters, the Bogan 100 watt amps, so that's what I got. And it's running, it's loafing along driving this, so it's no problem. But very good on the AC control. Yeah, you need that for that transmitter, be able to turn the power off, especially B+. But anyway, very good. Coming along fine. 630 meters for Ron. Yeah, I wish I could do 630. It's just, you know, what I did in 2018 when the band first opened up, I can't do anymore. I had a junky old Rudd heater, you know, with a standard old goofy thermostat, and nothing bothered it. It was great, you know, RF, oblivious to it. Now I have one of those ultra smart Lennox heaters, and you know the thermostat that communicates wirelessly with a router at the heater. What a piece of junk! I mean, 10 watts, and it goes crazy. And not only that, I'm out here in the shop, and the noise from the modulated blower on that heater coming through the receiver is probably about S7 when the heater's on, S7, S8. It's unbelievable. What a piece of crap, but what can you do? Anyway, so much for my tirade against Lennox and their thermostats. Good morning to Steve. Good signal in here. And you know, yesterday I put a little slack in the antenna, the shop antenna here, in anticipation of the wind. It was really tight, and you know, that's usually when things break. So I put a little slack in it yesterday, loosened it up a bit. Now the thing that's different this time, running the big rig, being out here in the shop with the 130-foot inverted V antenna, is I am not using the Nye Viking MBV, whatever that tuner is. I'm not using that tuner. I'm using a Johnson kilowatt matchbox now to match up to this antenna. And of course, the notorious trifler wound ballon that's in that Nye Viking tuner is always a subject of you know, amazement as to why that's, well, you know why it's in there, but I mean how it functions and what the losses are in that particular ballon. And so anyway, hopefully the signal sounds a little more like a 300-watt signal to a full-size antenna. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chuck, K0DWC, WA7YBS.
Okay, Henry, W7YBS K0DWC. Well, that's okay, Henry. You go on that tirade. I'm in agreement with you. Some of that technology is ignorant because people that still, you know, it just doesn't really benefit people that probably need getting out of control anyway. It's really more trouble than it's worth. So I definitely agree with your assessment of that. That's a stupid way to do that. It might be the most modern and new thing, but it's still stupid. There's my tirade, Henry. How you like that? Anyway, anyway, good morning to Steve. And Steve, you got a great signal in here this morning. Everybody's signals are still up there. We're going to check on Bill here in just a second. Mike, just real quick, I shot an email over to you that Vern sent me, so you wouldn't have to go looking for it. So he's got a couple of photographs on there. I think you'll like it. But anyway, yeah, you know, on my antenna here at the house, the way I've got it, you know, might be set up a little unorthodox, but the thing about it is what I'm trying to achieve here with my antenna is functionality versus the way it looks, you know. And I've got guy wires and strange spots and all, but I'll tell you something. In the 12 years I've lived in this house, I've only had to repair that thing 2 times. So that's a pretty good percentage rate. You know, as far as the way it's pointing and how it goes into the wind and where the wind comes in from Southern California south to north, you know. But the only problem I got sometimes the law enforcement manual be itching a little bit. Rub up against one of my teeth posts. You know, and I hate that. I don't like that. But anyway, I've had pretty good luck with this antenna the way I got it set up. But anyway, let's go send it back over to California to Steve, W6FSP, in the group K0DW6, Steve.
Chicago for the modulator.
Okay, W6 SSP W4DVQ here. I didn't hear Bill. Let me give him a call. We're going to be starting the 73 round. So Bill's number 1. So we'll give him a shot. So now I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so we're going to start the 73 round, and let me give Bill a shout. See if he's out there. N6 Bravo Charlie Tango to take it. This is W4DVQ 73 round, guys. I heard nothing, so it's over to you, Mike. W7 Mexico Sierra to take it. This is W4DVQ.
Well, thank you, Karla. And 73's to Bill, I guess. But I have a feeling I already know what he said, so I think we got it covered. He's going to talk to John this afternoon. So if Bill can hear us, 7-3 to you. W7MS, yeah, Mike in Reno. Good reception from all, and boy, Ron's boosting his antenna efficiency. That's always good news. And I guess on a windy day like today, you can maybe do a little space diversity modulation too, as the wire moves up and down. It's kind of a interesting morning. But I'm glad to hear that for folks out there like Steve, there's no wind, and for the folks are in the center of the on the wrong side of the low pressure center, that the antennas are still up in the air and the power's still on, so life is good. And yeah, a few comments on the bogans. Good job, Steve, on that. I think you could probably, I'm sure you did some research, but if that's considered a monoblock for an audiophile application, you got a great buy on the $10. And I picked up 2 bogan monoblocks. I beat our eBay dealer to those by he just kind of missed those at a swap meet a few years ago. So I picked those up. So that's one of my systems out front in the big room there, driving some clipped Cornwalls. So that's always cool. And fine on Henry's comments on that. And yeah, that little 10-watt guy does have, it is transformer coupled, so the 70 volts seems to drive the 500 ohms balance just fine. It's of course not a super correct match, but also the fact that the drivers are MOSFETs, solid state devices, that I think it seems to work okay. We still have to quantify and qualify to see if it is totally suitable, but at least it provides an adequate match to drive the guy to at or near somewhere in the 100% modulation range. So we still need to do some testing and work on that, but that was just an immediate check. And yeah, comment on the bogans. One thing I noticed, and my theory was correct, was that the power switch is backlit with a neon bulb, and of course neon bulbs are consumable, and quite often the person is unloading the bogan as is doesn't work, or as is no test. And I know that I had a certain theory in noticing all these listings that probably the backlight and the power switch had extinguished itself as a consumable device, and that was the case in my $7 purchase. The great Carling backlit switch is non-functioning as a backlit switch, but it works as a switch, so it's, that life is good. So 7-3s to everybody, and the sun's out, and I'm just going to watch the sagebrush ocean move around here in the wind. It's very dramatic. So over to you, Ron. NU6F. W7MS, and thanks, Karla, for running the net.
Okay, good deal, Mike. Now let's see if I got it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm not sure why it is when signals are so far down, but that's, I guess you guys aren't hearing the difference, so big deal one way or the other. And okay, Mike, on the, Sagebrush Sea, it's about like that, too. I know the tumbleweeds at least haven't showed up yet, so it's not windy enough to move those guys around. But garbage can lids and styrofoam beads everywhere. Let's see, I have one of the backyard trees is festooned, I like that word, with some plastic shopping bags. I'll retrieve those later. But like I say, I'm surprised that the main run of the antenna I don't think it's broken in 5 years. But the downlead seems to, for some reason, the 35-foot downlead, that's the one that occasionally will get snagged on the tree and broken. But now that I've got it on the flagpole away from the tree, maybe it's safer. Yeah, and Henry, okay, on the, gosh, Lennox, that's something to think of whenever it's time to go ahead and replace the furnace here at the house, is that I wouldn't have thought of that normally, to go ahead and check for RFI on whatever it is they want to replace it with. I guess that'll be up there on the list. How RF sensitive is it, and how much does it put out? I know a friend's been, he researches everything to the end before he buys it. So he's been going through washing machines, and yeah, just about all of them. They've got Wi-Fi access and for a washing machine. Give me a break. Whatever. And on the Bogan amps, yeah, here it is. There's at one time they demanded a few bucks, and now it really is only a few bucks. And backlit neon bulbs, yeah, that's a good thing to be aware of when you're trying to find one. But for the price, yeah, you can't complain. Steve, on the digital clock with analog meter display. Yeah, that's pretty slick. I hadn't thought of that. And now, like you say, being that those the old analog meters aren't so cheap, why you end up having to toggle back and forth. Hours, minutes, seconds. There you go. What time is it? And is it synchronized with the GPS or not? That might be a little bit tougher to pull off. And let's see what else I had the notes here. Okay, Vern, on stuff coming in the mail this week. Shiny microphone and the other stuff. Take a picture of the mystery alien device on top of the chassis with the bit of coax hanging on it, and then email us with that so we can try to figure out what it is or from what planet it may have come from. Karla, I guess you can QSY to the kitchen, but heck, Chuck's not doing anything. At least he should have gone ahead and preheated the skillet. Gosh, Chuck, least you can do. Well, anyhow, good deal, guys. I'll see what 630 meters brings up this week. I'm working on the loop, the shielded / unshielded Mobis loop / single turn, three low noise amp flutes with a gazillion combinations. And I decided I'm not going to go ahead and remote them all. I'm going to try this thing out maybe for a month or so, and then I'll figure out which modes work best. But it's quite the complicated loop antenna project. But what the heck? It's keeping me off the street and away from the public, so it's safer this way. All right, gang. 73s to all, and hope to catch you guys next week. And Mike, I'll give you a jingle when we get close to head over to hometown. Take it away, Vern, K6VXY, NU6F.
Okay, Ron, thanks a lot. This K6VXY. We're over in California, Pine Mountain Lake, Huge Pass. You know, our next door neighbors, I don't know if he waters a lot or what. He's not there much, just a few times a year. His driveway's always wet. It's a flat hard top. And of course now it's wet because of the rain. Oh, I took a look at the manual as things went around here. What that cable is, it's a phone patch. You plug in the backside there and something to do with doing a phone patch. I thought it was something to do with FSK, but then there's this little cable that goes to this little teepee-looking thing, and maybe that's how you link the phone patch signal into your transmitted power. So it's not something I'm not going to use. They don't use this unit has more stuff than I've ever seen on a transmitter. It's got stuff I've never used, you know, so it's a little bit of a mystery. But it's got a level for receive, power adjust, spot level, drive level is normal. Then it's got box delay, box sensitivity, and anti-trip. And then it's got all this, you know, there's a bunch of stuff to do on phone patches and other things that I won't be using. So I did the right thing with it. I just kind of isolated the cable, but I know now where it goes to because I looked in the assembly manual. Nice to get that, boy. Anyhow, 73s to all, the signals today have been outstanding at this end. I mean, I'm hearing all of you really, really well, and good sound, and there's virtually no background noise. Except when we listen for bills, you hear a little bit more, but it's been very good. And okay, on the smoke test, I got it. I'm going to be careful. I found another source through MQI who's not here today. Maybe he's out of town or something. He said he's working for another year. I was talking to him on the phone the other day. And he's sending me a 2-pin mic connector for the unit. But the unit I got has some sort of connector on. I don't know what it is. We'll see. I'm hoping to get all this thing tested this week. So, and then I've got a spot level. I was just reading about the spot level. So that goes into your receiver. And anything like that is kind of interesting because back when this was built, they didn't have receivers with digital readouts. So the elevation and all that is going to be kind of nice. It's like having a frequency counter right there, which would have been extremely expensive back in the 60s. And I remember the one we used on the ship, they had a bunch of, it was an HP or whatever. The thing was, what was that thing? It was, it had the readout, vertical readout for like 6 rows or whatever it was for the frequency, and they went up and down, and I don't know if it was Nixie tubes or whatever they used. But, so there's an advantage as I have here now with the 7200. I can use it for a lot of stuff. So anyhow, I'm going to turn it over to Henry, WA7YBS. Good morning all. Be listening out here. It's 8 o'clock. Still cloudy, but we're not supposed to get rain today. 48 degrees outside, which is warm, but it usually warms up when it rains. At least this time it did. It's been freezing all winter. Lucky to see 42 degrees. WA7YBS. Good morning, all. And my picture and the reflection in the window, I forgot. I got to look for that. Yeah, that if it shows up, you know, you can see I've lost a lot of weight. It shows up in my cheeks. 73 calls, 6 fly over to Henry.
Okay, Vern. WA7YBS here. And, well, all right. Good copy on everybody through the QRN that originates off of my Lennox Ultra Smart modulated blower heater. Yeah, there's been many times I've thought about calling up the dealer there and saying, can I get my old thermostat back? I mean, I should have known when they were hooking up a router to the furnace, and then it was going to communicate with the thermostat wirelessly, that there was going to be a problem, and that you were going to hook the thermostat, or you were supposed to anyway, hook the thermostat up to the internet. Well, that would have been wonderful. So anyway, ultra smart, nah, give me an ultra dumb. At least they don't, you don't have to talk to your thermostat with your cell phone. Anyway, 73 to all. Everybody have a good week coming up. And, I don't know, I think I'm net control next week. But it'll probably be down into the sub-freezing temperatures again. So I won't be out here in the shop. It was nice today because it was 50 degrees this morning. And, with the resonator on for just a little bit, I had it up to 70 in here in the shop. So no problem. But I don't think next week, I think it's supposed to be below 20. So we'll be operating from in the house. So with that, 73 all, over to Chuck, K0DWC, WA7YBS.
Yes, I'm going to break in just a second. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor, Quebec. I heard Bill out there trying to break in. N6 Ronald Charlie Tango, are you out there? Go ahead and make a transmission and hand it back to me, Bill. Go ahead. I guess not. Both of us heard him. So maybe we'll call again at the end. So over to Chuck, K0DWC. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor, Quebec.
Okay. K0DWC. Yeah, I heard Bill getting in there too, but he just one. It was funny, we both spent the call sign. Oh, well. Well, Bill, if you can hear us, we got you down, Steiny. Don't go there about it. Yeah, Henry will be net control next week. We got that if we need and back tomorrow. So, today's Groundhog Day, fellas. So, I'll let you know if I see my shadow, okay? I'll say my 7 threes, and everybody have a good week, a good day today. So everybody take care. And I'll send it over to Steve, W6SSP. Steve, you still got a good signal over here. And Ron, even though you said you were down, your signal sounds normal over here. You got a booming signal in here today. So W6SSP, to take it, go ahead, Steve. It's K0DWC. 7-3, guys.
old stuff. You got any relays, antenna relays? I've been looking for those. Go ahead.
Okay, Vern. Have a good one. All right, guys. I guess this is a good net today. So I'm going to go ahead and close the net. Securing the vintage radio, military radio net. I would like to thank everyone for their participation and invite everyone back next Sunday morning. We are now turning the frequency back over to regular amateur use. So 73 guys, and thanks for being there. W4DVQ clear.